Adobe Acrobat Studio, so brand new. Show me all the things PDFs can do. Do your work with ease and speed. PDF Spaces is all you need. Do hours of research in an instant with key insights from an AI assistant. Pick a template with a click. Now your prezzo looks super slick. Close that deal? Yeah, you won. Do that, doing that, did that, done. Now you can do that with Acrobat. Now you can do that with the all-new Acrobat. It's time to do your best work with the all-new Adobe Acrobat Studio.
REI Co-op presents a perfect outdoor moment with the perfect gift.
Woo!
Picture this. You're ripping with your favorite person. Bluebird skies, blower powder, and frankly, you're skiing like legends.
So sick. Another lap?
Thanks to REI's curation, from lid to sticks, you nailed the gift.
No way. How'd you know?
Does it get more perfect than that? Give without guessing. Shop in store or visit rei.com.
I'm a mom of Irish triplets, twins and my third, who I had 18 months later. So I know a thing or two about baby gear and paraphernalia, what you need and what you don't. I only give an F about 3 Fs. Form, the quality and durability of a product, functionality, and fair price. I recently discovered Baby Trend's Cover Me 4-in-1 car seat. It's a convertible car seat that has a patent-pending canopy for overhead and side sun protection. It can be used for 4 to 100 pounds and in modes including rear-facing, toddler rear-facing, forward-facing, and belt positioning booster. And get this, the Cover Me also has a very convenient recline system, which allows your child to find a comfortable position and limits the amount of space taken up by the seat when in the rear-facing position. My babies did not like having their knees scrunched up to their face, and rightfully so. Problem solved. Lastly, there's a no-twist, no-rethread harness and comfort cabin with multi-layered padding in conjunction with the UPF 50+ canopy I mentioned earlier. Baby Trend was founded in 1988, and it's a brand that's tried, tested, and true. I'm so glad to work with the female podcast collective, ASA, to bring you my code COVERME20 to receive 20% off when you visit babytrend.com/ASA, OSSA. Again, COVERME20 to receive 20% off your order at babytrend.com/ASA. Safe travels!
I think the kids need to go back to grassroots, where I think the circle needs to take you back to how maybe my mom or my grandmother looked at things for us. The child needs to understand how to disconnect from it all and get within themselves to know themselves. I think there is a some way to touch upon a spiritual aspect for a child, a meditation or just not doing anything, just calming down is a very important part of life in today's times for a child. Also because of the fact that, there is so much television, there is so much of these blue screens that you're watching, the blue lights going into your system. Yeah. Somewhere, even if you have the child just shutting their eyes and you're singing to them or they're singing whatever they want to, something which takes you back to touch upon your inner self, which will, I think, help the child to evolve to a different place and a space.
As moms, we often wonder, am I doing enough for my kids? I'm here to tell you, you are super mama. That's because we have an undeniable superpower, our intuition, and it never steers us wrong. I call it our mom sense. Hi, I'm Kanika Chadda Gupta, and I'm the host of That's Total Mom Sense. I'm a journalist, entrepreneur, wife, and mom of 3, twins plus 1. Now, if I had $1 every time I heard, gee, you have your hands full. On my podcast, I interview influential moms from various industries and cover topics that all first-time parents grapple with, from getting your baby to sleep to screen time allowance, your new normal in your marriage, and how to dedicate time to yourself. Learn and laugh along with That's Total Mom Sense.
I am so thrilled to do this interview as it's with a mother and daughter duo I am blessed to have as dear family friends and have had the opportunity to witness their evolution and impact on the fashion and film industries on a global scale firsthand. They are Neeta Lulla and NISHKA Lulla MEHRA. Neeta Lulla symbolizes elegance, romance, and opulence. Her designs are a unique blend of feminine fragility and power. Using India's rich cultural heritage of craftsmanship, embroidery techniques, and textiles, Neeta creates her representation of Indian bridal and diffusion wear that draws style inspirations from Edwardian silhouettes and patterns, yet remains deeply rooted in tradition and forms. Neeta Lulla is one of the most celebrated and respected names in the Indian fashion industry today. Counted amongst India's top bridal fashion designers, she has created nothing short of a legacy in the fashion and film industry in a career spanning over 30 years. Starting her journey at the young age of 16, Neeta Lulla finished her formal education in dressmaking and apparel construction from SNDT University, after which she got her first job with the famous fashion choreographer Jean Naroji. Crediting her time there having taught her about how a fashion show is designed, she later returned to her alma mater, SNDT, as a lecturer and thoroughly enjoyed her experience teaching. She was soon offered her first film project to style. Taking the opportunity head-on, Neeta Lulla impressed everyone with her creativity and skill, and in no time became one of the most celebrated designers of Bollywood, having worked with leading directors and actors of the industry. In 2005, Neeta Lulla launched her flagship store in Mumbai to cater to her growing global clientele. Bridal trousseau consultancy and diffusion wear are the primary offerings of the Neeta Lulla label. In 2008, she became the first designer to launch her online retail platform, and by 2009, she established her distribution network over 5 continents. With a growing demand for her designs, she was proud to recently launch her second flagship store in DLF Emporio, Delhi in 2016. Whether it was incorporating Tanjore paintings in her designs to introducing pre-stitched saris in India in 2001 or fiber optics to her collection in 2017, she has always been at the forefront of curious exploration and experimentation. Hence, she's also been named the Tsarina of Indian fashion. Neeta lives in Bombay with her husband, Dr. Shyam Lulla, and they have 2 children, Siddharth and Nishka. Neeta's daughter Nishka was born into fashion and has had an eye for design from the start. NISHKA LULLA MEHRA also graduated from SNDT College, Mumbai, and is also a design consultant for the fashion brand Provogue and for the shoe brand Mochi in India. Her label NISHK launched in 2009 as a chic, vibrant, and funky clothing line consisting of dresses, shorts, jumpsuits, and skirts, and the embellishments are catchy, innovative, versatile, using unusual materials to create the perfect coordinated look. Her label also has a range of accessories like clutches, bags, and watches. A moment in time that I had a chance to witness firsthand and cover as a CNN anchor in India was Nishka's debut at Lakme Fashion Week. She won a competition out of 100 Gen X designers to design an outfit and collection for Katrina Kaif, who is the brand ambassador for Barbie. When she sashayed down the ramp, it was a defining moment for Nishka and what was to come. Nishka is settled in Bombay with her husband Dhruv Mehra and has a daughter, Mariah. Okay, so Neeta Auntie and Nishka, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Tanika.
Thank you.
So I wanted to just kick it off with, our history, our background. I mean, you've known me since I was a baby, and we grew up together when I was, born in Bombay. And I feel like one of the most memorable moments in my lifetime was the fact that both of you had outfitted me for my wedding events. My sangeet, my reception, my wedding lehenga. I mean, it was all completely conceptualized and crafted by you. And I felt like a princess that day. So I can't thank you enough for, doing that for me and the memories that we've shared over time.
Seems like just yesterday.
I know. And now we have all these bachas. Neeta Auntie, you are truly an artist in every way. And I don't know if many people know this, but you're a skilled painter as well as, a fashion designer, which you're lauded for. We know you for that. So what piqued your interest in arts to begin with?
Essentially, when I started off, I didn't even know how to hold a pencil. And I am not a skilled painter, Kanika. I just paint what's in my heart. I'm kind of learning as I'm going through and I'm painting now. I'm learning. And it's been a great learning process for the last 8 years since I've been painting. And the 34 years that I've been in fashion, also, I would say, is every day is a learning experience. So I think that's how I look at life and that's how I look at my work. And it keeps it very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like it's important to be a learner all your life. What was that one moment that you said, this is what I want to do? And at such a young age to boot.
I don't know, in today's times, you do make a conscious effort to decide what you're going to do in life with, your work, when you're going to get married, everything is planned. And that point in time, for me, it was never planned. My only go-to thing was that I didn't want to study, so I wanted to get married. And when I got married, my in-laws and my husband said, you can't be just sitting at home, so you need to do something. So I said, okay, let me make new clothes and, let me learn tailoring. So that was my go-to when I started off. And I didn't realize that it would become such a big career for me and would become my life.
Right. That's really incredible. And what did you study at the time? Was it pattern making or merchandising? What sort of courses were there at that time? And because it's a completely different world today.
It was called pattern making and apparel manufacture. Mm-hmm. And that's precisely what we studied. And in that, we had kind of smaller segments of styling, of embroidery, history of world costumes, marketing. Merchandising is a very nascent word for me at that point in time. It was. And today, the whole thing has changed. Today, it's a time for speciality, and particularly now it is super specialities.
Right.
And that time you had to study everything and know everything. That was something that was a plus.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you're still very involved with S&DT. What has changed over the years, and what kind of raw talents do you see in the students now?
I think the perception of work has changed. The perception of how you look at your career has changed. Today, students and fashion aspirants are very, very clear as to what they want to do, whether they want to be a stylist, whether they want to be a merchandiser. Avenues are very specified in their minds, and they go with it. And there is a thought process of mastering one particular skill. Which I think stems from the advent of the teaching format abroad.
Right. So tell us about your latest collection.
I'm working on 2-3 verticals as of now. Amidst the COVID, I am on the jury of the Academy of Motion Picture of Arts and Sciences. So the Oscars, I was watching like 174 films. Simultaneously, I was working on a new project post Thalaivi. It's a South Indian film with Samantha. And working on my bridal clients and everybody in the scenario that we are today in, everyone's rushing to get their clothes done or not to get it done. So there is a kind of commotion that's happening, a confusion India-wide. And so dealing with that as well. But you know what? It's kind of going with the flow, is taking each day as it comes. And then very importantly, even pursuing your daily duties and your job as a wife and as a mother.
Yes. And we're definitely going to get into that. I wanted to, touch upon the many Bollywood heroines you've outfitted over the years and the most iconic movies. And one that just kind of sticks out in my mind is Aishwarya Rai in both Devdas and Jodha Akbar, which were really reminiscent of the Gilded Era. How did you recreate that?
I work on my projects in a very, very systematized format, and I read the script, I visualize the script, I get the director's perception of how he is looking at projecting the film. I reread it so that I get kind of involved in certain, the more you read a script, the more you get to know the character and what kind of nuances you want to put into the character, what kind of color scheming, what kind of look and statement you want to create for the character. It's like building a style statement for every person in that film. Right. And once you've got that completely in sync with your mindset and the characterization that you want to portray, then you get into kind of procuring fabrics, creating the cuts, getting into look tests, and then putting the entire accessorization together.
Yeah, amazing. You make it sound so effortless, but I feel like each film and each project is an isolated case, and you have such an eye. It's incredible for the audience to watch unfold, Some other career highlights that I just have to mention is, you are winner of the Distinguished Padma Shri. Was that one of your most proudest moments?
This is a real good story about Bronx and his dad, Ryan, real United Airlines customers.
We were returning home, and one of the flight attendants asked Bronx if he wanted to see the flight deck and meet Captain Andrew.
I got to sit in the driver's seat.
I grew up in an aviation family, and seeing Bronx kind of reminded me of myself when I was that age.
That's Andrew, a real United pilot.
These small interactions can shape a kid's future.
It felt like I was the captain.
Allowing my son to see the flight deck will stick with us forever.
That's how good leads the way.
¿Hablas español?
Sprichst du Deutsch?
Kan du norsk?
If you used Babbel, you would. Babbel's conversation-based techniques teaches you useful words and phrases to get you speaking quickly about the things you actually talk about in the real world, with lessons handcrafted by over 200 language experts and voiced by real native speakers. Babbel is like having a private tutor in your pocket. Start speaking with Babbel today. Get up to 55% off your Babbel subscription right now at babbel.com/Spotify, spelled BABBEL.com/Spotify. Rules and restrictions may apply.
I think my 4 national awards have been my most proudest moments, but I should let you in a little secret. The first national award that I got from the President of India, I really didn't know what it was. And I was like, I'm not going all the way to Delhi to, collect an award. Till my husband had to sit me down and make me understand that, do you really realize what this is all about? And when I was on that stage collecting my national award, my first national award for Lamhe, I was a complete bundle of nerves, and I was like shaking. And that's when I actually realized what it was all about.
Wow. And your latest project with Kangana Ranaut for Manikarnika, the Queen of Jhansi, tell us a little bit about that and what we can expect.
So Manikarnika has released, and it was quite acclaimed for its clothes and the way she looked. However, the other project that I'm working with and I've just completed for Kangana is Thalaivi, which is based on Srimati Jayalalitha's, it's her biopic. It's based on her life. If you ask me today, which is my most challenging project, up until Manikarnika or Panipat, I could not say which was my most challenging project. But after completing this film, I say this is one of my most challenging projects. Predominantly because the career graph, the style graph, the fashion statement that Jayama made was tremendous. Then to create, the inner structuring of Kangana, of course, she had put on almost 15 to 20 kgs of weight, but to be able to create that structuring for her to look like Jayama was quite a task. What made the entire film challenging was that every time you looked at, you had to recreate songs, right, from her time. Right from the time she entered films to when she was she was a superstar, basically. So every time you saw a film or a song of hers, you would think that you've grasped the style statement completely. But I must have watched every song at least 15 to 16 times. But every time I watched it, every time a new element came out. And that made it ever so challenging.
Wow.
But you know what was the most beautiful aspect of that? That certain songs, when I was watching, my little Mirai would be sitting there and she would be dancing. So it was like, should I watch the song or should I watch Mirai?
Watch her, yeah. Oh my goodness. And that, is so sweet. And I feel like it's, again, probably nostalgic for you because you used to take NISHKA on the set.
Yeah.
when she was that age. What was that like? Because this, the show is called That's Total Mom Sense, and it's about entrepreneurial women who are moms. And so that's exactly you. And how did you navigate both roles and, take your son and daughter to set with you when you were working?
So my son used to come in a backpack with me to college.
Okay.
I would say that I had a great set of in-laws, and they would take care of both the kids when I had to be out. But what really made it easy for me was the fact that at that point in time, you never had like a huge workshop or a place where you were working out from a factory area, because I was very new in the industry. So I would be at home, and my machines were at home, my tailors were at home. I used to do a lot of sewing and cutting myself. So I was in and around here, and the kids would see a lot of me around, except for when I went to shoots. But when Nishka was about 3, I started taking her for shoots with me, because I just felt that it's important for your child to understand the kind of work you do, and to be able to meet with people, to grasp what is around. And it kind of opens your mind to different avenues, and you start understanding what books don't teach you. It's not, I wouldn't say it's like being street smart, but it's about picking up certain mindsets, picking up certain aspects of any kind of career. And it will keep you open to understanding what is in store in life for you, per se, whether it is for a career or whether it's interaction with people.
Yes.
But of course, when she was 5, I took her for a photo shoot. And when I went to pick up a pair of accessories, I suddenly see her dabbing on the dress for an actor and saying, okay, I'm going to fit it nicely for you. And I said, okay, now this is getting too much into her skin. So then I stopped taking her out for shoots. But yeah, she would come with me as and when, and she had the independence to decide what she wanted to wear, how she wanted to style herself, or, and people she met. And the relationship between her and me was pretty open to that sense.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And I mean, I've seen it firsthand. And I love the dynamic that you share. Nishka, do you remember when you were that age going to shoots with mom?
Yeah, I do. I do remember going. I really enjoyed it because I felt like you could just see people transforming, like these women transforming. It was really great to watch, and I used to just come home and try to do the same thing and try to dress up my Barbies in the same way also, or try to dress myself in the same way. I think that's when I really started coordinating all my outfits myself at a really, really young age. Like I had an opinion on what I wanted to wear. And I started sketching as well as a hobby. Like even in school, when I had nothing to do, I would just, in the breaks, I would just sit and sketch outfits. Yeah, so I think that passion grew really quickly.
That's beautiful. I love that. And it's in your blood, I think that though you both are very artistically different, there's that common thread, pun intended, that's there. So, Neeta, what advice do you have for mothers today?
I feel that a lot of mothers share their schools with their kids, and rightly so, because the pressure is so much and there is so much to do. The child is overburdened with a lot of academics, and very few kids really want to go out there and play in the garden or play in the parks, because of even the constraint of space and at a very young age, the child has learned computers, has learned to switch on and switch off the phone. My 2-year-old knows how to switch off a phone or to take a photograph or a video as well, which is amazing. But also I feel that despite all this, I think the kids need to go back to grassroots, where I think the circle needs to take you back to how maybe my mom or my grandmother looked at things for us, So there is a mindset that the child has to get vis-a-vis academics, but there is also a mindset that the child needs to get where the child needs to understand how to disconnect from it all and get within themselves to know themselves. I think there is a some way to touch upon a spiritual aspect for a child, a meditation, or just not doing anything, just calming down is a very important part of life for today, in today's times, for a child. Also because of the fact that there is so much television, there is so much of these blue screens that you're watching, the blue lights going into your system. Yeah. Somewhere, even if you have the child just shutting their eyes and you're singing to them, or they're singing whatever they want to, something which takes you back to touch upon your inner self, which will, I think, help the child to evolve to a different place and a space. I don't know whether this is something that helps children. I remember Nishka also did this for Miraya at a very young age, and I used to support that and ask her to do this and a little more, is the fact that we used to put on meditative music, affirmations for her, and make her hear it even when she was hardly 4 to 6 months. So it kind of seeped into her subconscious from that age.
Yes.
So I think that portion is a very important aspect that one has to look at for a child in today's times.
Yes, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I mean, I think that because we have so much at our fingertips and we're overstimulated, so many people have forgotten about what it means to be a spirit and be spiritual. And it's something that we have to carve out time for in our own lives and make a priority, and then pass on to our children as well. And like another thing is just using their imagination, because they have all these toys and gadgets and things, tangible things that they can play with. I mean, when I was younger, I feel like there were so many times where we would just have pretend play, we're playing house, or we're playing restaurant, or, and I feel like that doesn't exist as much. Something we have to recreate.
And now for a quick break, brought to you by my brand sponsor, Homer.
Hi, this is Kanika Chadha Gupta, founder and host of That's Total Mom Sense.
I'm Stephanie Dua, president and co-founder of Homer.
And this is At Home
with Homer. Homer is the essential early learning program for kids aged 2 to 8. We have the most comprehensive app available for early learning skills that you can find on iOS or Google Play. And you can also find our really fun Explore kits that help kids with their math, their reading, and social emotional learning that you can find on our website, learnwithhomer.com.
On this weekly segment, we're going to cover a range of topics, from raising confident readers to developing emotional intelligence.
These are the skills that will carry your child through school and life and resonate most when taught at home by you, their most important teacher.
So grab a notepad, your phone, or your mental notebook to remember the tips shared during this segment. And now on to At Home with Homer. Now we're going to talk about summer and structure. So summer is officially underway. School is out. The warm weather is here, and we have longer days to enjoy being out and enjoy the sun. And after over a year living in this pandemic, I think we all feel a sense of freedom now that we're in the summertime. Stephanie, we've talked about kind of finding that perfect harmony when it comes to play and learning, but I want you to kind of dive in deeper on tips that you can share with families on embracing freedom and flexibility when it comes to summer without losing structure, because we do kind of have to have some sort of schedule in place with younger kids.
I love how you put it, freedom and flexibility. I think that's the perfect framework for the summer. So I can relate to this personally. We always have this moment where what do we do with all the kids now? And now the routine that we had is not in place. Here's what I like to say, which is it doesn't have to be that radically different than what your life was like when the kids were in school. Now with COVID, everything's a little bit jumbled, everything's a little bit different. But I think it's important for children to have some sense of structure. I don't think it needs to be rigid. I think the structure needs to be how you framed it, with some structure, but there's some freedom within that so that they have some agency. Could be even roughly, this is what we do now in the morning. This is what we now do for lunch. This is what our afternoon nap is. This is our afternoon activity. And this is how we wind down after dinner at the end of the day. having some rough sense of predictability for children so that as they're moving from one thing to the next, they know what is next. That can help with everything from tantrums to being overtired, that they can start to, cognitively understand what is happening and be able to modulate really their behavior accordingly. So that level of structure, I think, is great. But it's so important to make room for kids to take agency at all ages. So giving kids an opportunity for choice within that structure. Do you want to do this activity? Do you want to do that activity? Do you want to wear these socks today? Do you want to wear those socks today? Really starting to get them to think about their choices and have that agency is a very powerful thing for a small child. The third piece that moms often forget is that self-care is childcare. It's interesting in the summertime, when our own schedules get a little misaligned or we're afraid we're not going to have the time to do some of the things we're going to need, we put ourselves last. And I think it's really important for your children to see that you're taking care of yourself as part of the childcare. So whether it's a walk, exercise, sitting down and having lunch, not eating the scraps on the table after you've made a sandwich like we've all done.
I know, standing, yes.
Exactly. Just allowing your child to see that is incredible modeling behavior. You don't know how important that is for a child to say, oh, I'm a human, I'm a person, I have needs, and this is how my needs need to be met as well. It's a really important model. And then sometimes kids will say, I'm bored. And it's parents, often ask, what do you do when your child says, I'm bored? I think it's really important to frame why are you bored? And really allow the child to have some exploration instead of just giving them another activity, really allowing the child to figure out how do they problem solve their way around out of boredom, and so that they can start to end up having that agency over time. So that's what I always like to recommend. A little bit of structure. You said it the best, which is some flexibility is really important, but also, having some freedom of choice.
Yes, absolutely. I wanted to kind of share my experience since we have had one pandemic-ridden summer, and I feel like we learned a lot of lessons from last year. We had a schedule in place, and after a few weeks, it was out the window because it's just not sustainable. And what we did do was carve out kind of time blocks on, okay, I know I want to kind of tire them out in the morning, and then they come home and have their lunch and potentially nap after that because we've been outdoors the first half of the day. And then your point about agency, I love this. So giving the children choices. I made flashcards, stick figures that I would draw on them because my younger ones can't read, but it would be, nature walk or blocks or painting, arts and crafts, whatever it was. And I said, so what do you guys want to do today? Pick a flashcard. And then they would decide. Water play, there were so many different choices that they had in front of them. So that definitely gave them that agency, and they loved picking their flashcards every day. Yeah.
That's a great suggestion. And all of those are learning moments. So, we can keep the learning alive in so many creative ways that allow children to really own some more independence in their life. And that's very rewarding for them.
Yes, yes. And then the last bit about self-care is childcare, also so important. It was just recently that my youngest, who's 2.5, saw me reading a book, because it's usually after hours that I do that whenever I feel I want to make that time. He was so curious and was like, what are you reading? And he's like picking up this hardbound book, no pictures. And, this is Mama's book. And I think they're very receptive to the fact that, yes, as parents, we have our own interests. We need to carve our own me time, and I think they're going to respect that when they're older. I think you can speak to this.
My oldest one, who's now amazingly starting to apply for college, said to me recently how much she appreciated that my husband and I really valued our own time. And so now she's really using that. She'll say, I have too much work. I need my me time. I need time just to sit and read a book. I need time to take a walk. I need time to, and that kind of when kids are really stressed in high school and taking all these exams, the fact that she can now recognize she has to take care of herself is by far more important than any other lesson I could give her, right?
Yes.
Because ultimately, that is the best gift, is that you're human and you have to learn how to take care of yourself ultimately.
Right. And the cues.
You're reading your body, and you're reading your own cues to when you need to regulate.
Exactly. Love it.
We hope you enjoyed this week's At Home with Homer segment.
To download the app, visit learnwithhomer.com/momsense, MOMSENSE, to receive your very own 60-day free trial. Your kids are going to love playing the games, watching the visual stories, and more. Now, back to the interview.
I turned off news altogether.
I hate to say it, but I don't trust much of anything.
It's the rage bait.
It feels like it's trying to divide people.
If we got clear facts, maybe we could calm down a little.
NBC News brings you clear reporting. Let's meet at the facts. Let's move forward from there. NBC News, reporting for America.
We all love a legendary comeback, and Degree Original Cool Rush is back and better than ever. Cool Rush isn't just a scent, it's a movement, a fan favorite that delivers bold, fresh vibes and all-day sweat protection. Whether you have a man that spends hours in the gym, heads into the office early, or is just trying to stay fresh on a long day, Cool Rush has their back. Head to your local Walmart or Target and grab Degree Cool Rush, the fan favorite scent from the world's #1 antiperspirant brand.
So what is it like, being a nanny?
Oh, it's the most beautiful experience.
Yeah.
It's absolutely heavenly and divine. The little one teaches me a couple of things. For example, just the other day, she came over to my office and she says, go to work with nanny. First of all, she says, go to work with mama. So she comes to office and she sits next to me and she has this little doll that she has named Bishnu, baby Bishnu. So baby Bishnu was wearing a little t-shirt. So I decided to cut up a little piece of fabric and make a jacket for baby Bishnu. And after I made it and I put it on, she says, Nani, it's not working. So I was like, okay. I was pretty amazed.
Yeah.
But sitting with her and explaining things to her, talking to her, just playing with her. She's pretty boisterous. So am I. So we kind of play cricket, we play football and a whole lot of games. So she pretty much enjoys it. The kind of spiritual aspect that I'm talking about, it just takes you back to that platform.
Yeah. Oh, that's so nice. I mean, I'm dying to meet her. When circumstances are different, we'll get all the kids together. So Nishka, I wanted to, I guess pass it on to you and tell us, if you knew that fashion was always the #1 career trajectory for you after seeing your mom.
Yeah, I always knew that. After school, I went straight into fashion university. I did do my education on the side.
Mm-hmm.
But I went straight into fashion. I did not want to waste any time.
Okay.
I did my diploma in apparel manufacture and design at SMDT, which was the same place where mom studied too. And at a very young age, I got my first internship with a movie. It was a movie under Mukta Arts called Kisna. And that's when the journey began. I just started working continuously since then.
Wow. And what are some of the milestones that you look back on as pinch me moments?
I think first was winning the Barbie contest, where I participated with so many of India's leading designers. And I won it, where Katrina wore the outfit designed by me. She was a likeness for Barbie. So she wore that outfit.
That show. I remember it on the headlines. And I mean, it was just groundbreaking. And I feel like if anyone had to dress Barbie and the Barbie ambassador, it's you. I mean, you just capture that effervescence and girly chic persona so well. And I mean, it's just, you were made for that.
I was really excited for that project. So as soon as I heard that there's a contest like this, I just jumped right into it and, gave it my all. And I think it's really one of the best experiences I've had.
Mm-hmm.
I would think the other milestones are really growing up with fashion, because first few collections that I did were really different from what I do now. And with each collection, I feel like I'm just growing as a person, and that kind of reflects in my collections. So I think that is a milestone for me too, because I think I'm just learning more with every collection. I'm learning more about myself with every collection, because for me, style is like an expression of yourself. I think that those are milestones for me where I'm just discovering and exploring and learning.
Yes. And I mean, with motherhood, I feel like that has probably informed a lot of your design sense as well, because do you feel like you're kind of looking for something that can provide comfort and functionality that most moms need?
Absolutely. I think the way I dress myself is very different now. It's all about comfort, utility, being practical. I've always been a moody dresser myself. I've always been moody. So right now, the way I dress is very different from how I would earlier. And that kind of reflects in my designs as well.
Yeah. And what is the latest, collection you're working on? What can we look out for?
Since Mariah was born, I took a break for a year because I know a lot of moms can balance work life and life as a mother, like life as a new mom. That's what I planned for myself too in the beginning, but it was totally different after I became a mother. I just felt that I needed to prioritize this more. I think it's very difficult to balance when people say they can balance. There are people who can balance. My mom balanced both her life as a mom and her work life, but this is something I couldn't do. I felt that I need to give that time to my baby now. And since then there was COVID that started.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like that's colored it big time. It's a lot of sacrifices that we've had to make. So how is that parenting in a pandemic?
I mean, there are pros and cons. You're spending so much time with your baby that you wouldn't be able to. And, you're schooling them yourself and you're learning new things about them. It's really sad as well because, Mariah loves the outdoors and I can't send her down so much right now. She's missing that outdoor life which she could have had, and these are like her growing, these are very important stages in her life where she's a toddler, so she wants to run around, she wants to play, she wants to get out there, she wants to be free and independent, and so it's really sad. At the same time, she cannot go to school physically and meet other kids in school. She has to do online classes. Now we're just hoping that this gets better.
Yeah.
And she can go to school and meet her friends soon.
I know. We're all just praying for that. But I feel like you're handling it so wonderfully. It's not easy to have.
It's not easy at all.
Yeah, you've seen it. What does it make you feel, Auntie, about like seeing Nishka as a mom? It just, I want to start crying.
I keep wondering when is she become also grown up?
I know.
Because for a mother, the child is still a child. I think yes, times are difficult and things are difficult, especially now more than ever. For kids and for parents, the challenge is way, way too much because there are so many aspirations children have, smaller kids have. There are so many avenues of having fun. Games and everything that's there. But then to be able to streamline that, to be able to control that is a very difficult proposition, especially keeping them in good health.
Yeah.
And the challenge of not being able to let them meet their peers. But somehow I feel that this too shall pass and we will come out stronger. We'll only have to work double hard on what we lost out on. But that's my point of view because that's how I've seen my life and that's how I see it. Right now, what you really need to do is you need to just strengthen yourself internally as well. And that's why I say there is a sense of spirituality that needs to come in, where even as mothers, we need to calm down. We need to meditate a bit to make ourselves ready for the entire day, because that 20 minutes of calming and meditating and, refocusing and channelizing your inner self towards preparing for the day is very essential. And then I guess you need to just go with the flow. You just need to be that little friend, that little toddler that your toddler needs. Play with them and just be with them. I guess that's how I look at it. But things are really difficult as of now for everybody and challenging as well.
What is one thing that, Mariah has done lately that surprised you? Nishka, if you have a story.
I think kids imitate their parents. Like we are role models for them. Even I think she hears our talk and she tries to imitate that too. So just today she was doing something and my husband told her, Miraya, don't do that. It's not good for you. And she tells my husband, just chill, Papa. And she said it in the correct context. Yes. I was shocked with that.
Yeah.
Like this 2-year-old is saying this to my husband.
Sure, Papa, yeah. Amazing.
How does she even understand when to use it?
Just chill, yeah. They literally pick up anything. It's
and the way she came to me and she said, "It's not working, Nani." I literally
because we as designers keep discussing. Okay, this is not working. Okay, this. So she's just picked that up like a grasping curve. She grasps really quickly.
Yeah, but then to use it in the context and understanding where it's coming from, I think today's generation is much smarter than the last, and the one coming is going to be even smarter.
I completely agree. They're super sharp. Tell us about a mom sense moment that you had.
I think it's really small things because Miraya is so small right now, but I really want her to be independent. It's very easy for them to be independent, especially in the pandemic where we're around them all the time. Whether she's climbing downstairs or, standing on the bed, at the edge of the bed, I just let her be. And I feel sometimes it's okay if she falls, gently, of course, but it's okay if she falls and she learns.
Yes.
But there are just moments where I know that she's going to be okay. I do not need to help her or support her, hold her hand. And she just does it. And there are moments I just feel that she's going to fall. So I just catch her quickly when she is going to. So I think that's really total mom sense.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Neeta, do you have I feel like you might have, many mom sense moments even now.
Yeah, but the last mom sense moment I had and I remember is, for the longest time, my husband and I have been asking Nishka, before she got married, of course, that do you have someone in mind? Do you want to get married? And she used to always say, if I have someone, I will let you know.
Yeah.
And then she was dating Dhruv for a year and a half, which I didn't know, but the way she was, this entire thing of shutting her room and talking on the phone very quietly, you kind of get a whiff of it, for someone who doesn't do that. And she's been the way she has been, this little Barbie and this little princess who gets completely exasperated and harrowed with every small stress that came to her. So one time she was all over the place and she was flustered and I could see that, but I didn't kind of broach the topic. So the next day she comes to me and she says, I have to talk to you. In her, I was going to die laughing. Yeah. And I was just wanting to burst out laughing, but I had to pretend I was very serious. And I was like, so Nishka, it's a yes. She was like, her bubble had burst. She said, at least let me tell you what it is. I said, no, I told you it's a yes. I've always told you it's okay. Whoever you like is okay for us as long as you've done the due diligence for yourself.
Yeah, amazing.
So I think that was one of the biggest mom senses that I had.
You already knew. Yeah, that's really...
I could make a comic book on the expressions that she had that day.
Yeah.
She thought she was very serious and I was just wanting to so burst out laughing.
Oh, that's so sweet. And just to give, Dhruv some airtime, I mean, he is a gem. And I feel like Nishka, you can speak to that, but all that...
but he's a wonderful person. He's a wonderful person. I think we are blessed,
Yeah.
I really think we are blessed because in today's time to have someone who is so understanding, so grounded is a treat.
Yes.
Is a blessing.
Completely.
Let's not forget our quote of the day.
If you can share a quote that you live by.
I don't believe that you have to work or do whatever you want out of the box. I don't believe you have to do that. I always believe that you have to create a new box of your own. And it's very important that you not you're pushing your boundaries, but you're creating that niche that you can feel happy about, your conscience can feel happy about, you get a sense of fulfillment, and people remember you with or by.
Right. Really profound. Nishka, do you have a quote that you...
I think I believe that all we have is now. So to make the best of every day and enjoy every moment. Yeah, I think we need to live each day. We need to take each day as it comes and enjoy every day, basically.
Yes. And I feel like these are the lessons we've been taught during this challenging time, to really value what time we have.
It's now time for Mom Haul, when we share products we love.
Is there anything that you are loving? It could be a product or an app that you just feel like it's been your go-to lately.
There's this app called Baby Center that I use, and it's really nice because it really we get an email every week, and it helps us to understand what our toddler is going through every week, and it's quite spot on. So that is something I'm really enjoying now.
That's cool. Yeah. And I remember those pregnancy apps that we had.
Yeah.
That it was
really spot on.
Yeah. But this is way more exciting because you have the child in front of you and you're seeing the milestones unfold,
Yeah. So it's called Baby Center, and it says your toddler this week or your preschooler this week, and it tells you what to expect and what you can do about it. And I think that's great. It's really good to hear and understand.
Yes. Yeah. Great resource. Neeta Auntie, what about you? Do you have something that you're kind of turning to these days that you want to share?
I'm reading a lot these days. I'm doing a lot of meditation. So my go-to is a lot of YouTube podcasts and business of fashion and a lot of variant things, because at some time I'm trying to learn how to paint. So I go through this Udemy or a kind of a lesson from Udemy, which I found pretty exciting because you could do marketing, social media marketing, and a whole lot of things. So in the lockdown last time and now, it's been all about learning a lot, whether this from the smallest of things, even cooking for that matter of fact. And I think that's pretty much what I'm doing. I'm grasping in and I'm taking in a lot of what I hear. And as it is, I'm not a person who reads much. So I need to hear things and I need to understand people's point of views, and that's how I get my education. So it's been a lot of introspection and education, I would say.
That's so great. It's great to hear that you're using your time so constructively. Where can my listeners find you?
The most instant go-to is the House of Neeta Lulla Instagram, or the Neeta_Lulla Instagram, or our website. And we're there at your service.
Wonderful. And Nishka?
My Instagram handle, NISHKA LULLA.
Okay. Yeah. Wonderful. It is a delight to have you both on today. I'm so glad we got to catch up.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for sharing your motherhood stories, and wishing you both a very, very happy Mother's Day this weekend. Thanks for listening to today's episode. I hope you learned some home truths from mother and daughter duo Neeta Auntie and Nishka. Tune into other episodes and browse my YouTube videos on my website, that'stotalmomsense.com. Leave a review on Apple Podcasts for a chance to receive a one-on-one Zoom session with me on the art of the interview, valued at $250. So all you have to do is leave the review and send me a screenshot to that'stotalmomsense@gmail.com. Remember, always trust your mom sense. Stay strong, supermamas. See you next time.
That's Total Mom Sense.